From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today the Padres take on the Baltimore Orioles in the second game of a three-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the Orioles, right-hander Tyler Wells, and for the Padres, right-hander Yu Darvish. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you from inside the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 6:40 as the Padres continue this quick three-game homestand. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we have a lot to do. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Plus, we hear from Jason Adam, who suffered that terrible injury in last night's game. We hear from Padres reliever Mason Miller. We check in with Jesse Agler in just a few minutes, our keys to the game, and much, much more to come. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres come in 76-62. They enter the day 2.5 games behind the LA Dodgers for first place in the National League West. Padres currently sitting in the NL second wild card spot, 3 games behind the Chicago Cubs for the first spot entering today, 2 games ahead of the Mets, who hold the final wild card spot. Orioles are just 62-76 entering today. Even with their win yesterday, the Orioles have lost 6 of their past 8 and 9 of their last 12 games. Well, yesterday the Padres played the series opener of this 3-game set against Baltimore. Let's quickly rewind.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Dylan Cease was dealing with trouble in the second. There were 2 on base for Orioles rookie Samuel Basallo.
Second and third, 1 out, no score, second inning. The 3-2 hit hard on one hop through the right side. Cronenworth dove, couldn't get there. Beavers has scored. Carlson's on his way. And Basallo sliding feet first into second with a 2-run double. 2-0 Baltimore here in the second.
Padres, though, answered against Kyle Bradish in the bottom half of the inning after he issued 2 walks to start the frame. Bryce Johnson, who only started the game after Fernando Tatis Jr. was scratched from last night's lineup. It was Johnson who dug in with 2 runners in scoring position.
Cronenworth at second, Sheets at third, 1 out. Trailing 2-0. Pitch to Johnson, lined up the middle into center field and a base hit. Sheets will score. Cronenworth going to be held as Carlson's throw comes in towards the infield. But Bryce Johnson with another hit and an RBI single to get the Pods on the board. It's 2-1.
With 2 outs and runners still on first and third, Luis Arraez worked along at bat. Here's what happened on pitch number 9.
Johnson will run the 3-2, and Arraez knocks it into left field, down and a base hit. That'll tie the game. Cronenworth comes in to score, and it's 2-2 here in the second on Luis Arraez' second hit of the day.
Game stayed 2-2 for a bit. Top of the 5th inning, it was Jeremiah Jackson against Adrian Morejon.
Jackson swings at the first pitch for Morejon, sends it in the air to deep center field. Johnson is back at the wall, and it's going to go. Long home run to center field for Jeremiah Jackson. Got it up onto the platform in front of the batter's eye, and the Orioles go ahead. It's 3-2.
Padres, though, again answered in the 5th inning, courtesy of Ramon Laureano.
O'Hearn at first will be on the move. Fermin is at third. The 3-2 hit on the ground through the left side and a base hit. Laureano gets the O's as Fermin comes in to tie the game. It's 3-3.
Top 7, Robert Suarez on the mound with 2 on base after Jason Adam was injured. It was Dylan Beavers who dug in for Baltimore.
2-2. The pitch to Beavers is lined over the head of Cronenworth into right field. Jackson is being waved. Here comes the throw from Laureano, and it is not in time. Just kind of bounced and rolled into Fermin. They had a shot, but the Orioles go back ahead. It's 4-3.
Padres did not score in their final 3 innings. Final score in the series opener yesterday, the Orioles 4 and the Padres 3. A tough loss as the Padres lose their 3rd in their last 4 games. And now they flip the page to the middle game of this 3-game series with right-hander Yu Darvish on the mound. First pitch coming up at 6:40. Let's go inside the Jerry Coleman Broadcast Center.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Jesse Agler in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, Jesse, let's reflect on last night's game, and obviously the big headline coming out of last night's game, and that was Jason Adam going down with the ruptured quad tendon. He is done for the season, and I suppose, Jesse, two things can be true at once. On one hand, it's a very, very, very tough loss for this team. Jason Adam has been so good since the moment he arrived in San Diego, but if there was a bullpen built to withstand not having Jason Adam the rest of the year, it would seem like this Padres pen is it.
Oh, there's no doubt about all of that. And it is a devastating one, for Jason. But it is an absorbable one for the team. And, you sound almost callous saying it that way, but because of the depth that they have out there, it's true. Now, look, no team is better because they're losing one of the best relievers in baseball. Padres are not as good today as they were yesterday before it happened. So, that is the harsh reality of the thing. But if you were going to lose somebody, critical, and it was going to be for the rest of the year and then some, I mean, the bullpen is the place to do it. And, when they went out and added Mason Miller at the trade deadline, I don't think any of us were thinking, well, that'll be great if somebody ruptures their quad tendon, which, by the way, I had never heard of anybody doing until yesterday afternoon. Then okay, but it's worked out in a way that, there's always another reason to add depth, and that's if something were unfortunate were to happen, and here we are. So tough blow. Obviously, he is so good and such a critical piece of this thing, but it is next man up, and the good news for the Padres, the next man is very, very good.
Right-hander Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres today. Had a so-so start his last outing in Seattle. 4 innings, 4 earned runs given up. Gave up a big home run in that start. And, Jesse, it's no secret. Padres have not been getting much length from their starting pitching for the last week or so. How do you frame what they need from their starters, but also sort of fold it into, I suppose, what their offensive identity is, which has been play more small ball, try to take a lead, hand it to the bullpen. I guess all in one question, kind of, how important is it that they get some length from these starters, considering the kind of baseball they seem to want to play?
It is critically important to get more out of their starters. And I would say that, honestly, even if this were a home run hitting team. If they were trying to hit home runs every night and not ever bunting and not ever stealing bases, if they were like the Yankees or whatever, I would still say you got to get more. It's the arithmetic of the baseball season. You cannot survive long stretches getting like 4 innings or less per start. You just can't. Now, the calculus is very different come October. And the reality is, as much as a more traditional fan of the game that I am hates to say it, you might not need more than 4 per start from a Yu Darvish or a Dylan Cease in a playoff game. With all the off days built in, with the sort of nature of those schedules, you could probably get away with that. I'm not saying you draw it up that way. I'm not saying it's ideally that way. But right now, and I know it's still only 26 days to go, that's too long to continue to only get 4 innings or fewer out of your starters. And again, because of the depth of the bullpen, even without Jason Adam, you can cover it one time through the rotation. Maybe, I don't want to see it, but maybe twice through the rotation you can cover it. But you can't do it with the way they've been doing it in the last 8. I mean, they haven't, gotten their averages 4 innings per start in the last 8 games. They have lost 6 of those 8 games, and I don't think you really have to look any further than that.
Yeah, well said, Jesse. And on the other side of this pitching matchup today, right-hander Tyler Wells for the Orioles. We'll talk more about him coming up a little bit later, making his first start back in the major leagues.
He's very large.
Yes, and making his first start back in the major leagues since having Tommy John surgery. So similar to Kyle Bradish, who was making his second start yesterday for the Orioles. Padres going to see a similar situation today with Wells finally returning to the major leagues. Jesse, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you and Bob Scanlon coming up at 6:30 here at Petco Park as the Padres try to bounce back after last night. Thanks so much.
You got it, Sammy.
All right, that is Jesse Agler joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for today's game. Yeah, Jesse, absolutely right. It is going to be critical for the Padres to get more out of their starting pitching. We'll see if Yu Darvish can do that here today. Tyler Wells, like I said, he's coming off Tommy John surgery. First start he'll be making in the major leagues since April of last year. We'll talk much more about what you can expect from Tyler Wells a little bit later on. I do want to give you the Padres lineup today, first and foremost, because there are a couple of names back in there today that were not in there yesterday. Fernando Tatis Jr., a late scratch from yesterday's lineup. He is back in there today, playing right field and leading off. Luis Arraez at first base batting second. Manny Machado at third base batting third. Gavin Sheets, the DH, batting cleanup. Ramon Laureano in the 5 spot in left field. Jackson Merrill in center batting sixth. Jake Cronenworth at second base batting seventh. Mason McCoy getting the start at shortstop tonight, batting eighth, and Freddie Fermin is doing the catching and batting ninth with, again, right-hander Yu Darvish on the mound. When we come back, we hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We hear the latest about Jason Adam, his injury, and again, later on, we'll hear from Jason himself, who I just have to give a lot of credit to. I mean, talk about having such a positive outlook in the face of a really devastating injury that has ended his season. I think a sizable chance it'll affect him into next season as well, as far as when he can return. And you'll want to hear Jason Adam later. Just very, very positive upbeat for somebody who went through what he went through yesterday. We'll hear from Mike Shildt when we come back about the guys in today's lineup and much, much more. First pitch coming up at 6:40 here at Petco Park as the Padres play Game 2 of this 3-game series against the Baltimore Orioles. Our pregame coverage continues after this.
Stay tuned to the
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch is coming up at 6:40 between the Padres and the Baltimore Orioles. Orioles winning last night's game by a final score of 4-3, and now they look to turn things around here tonight with right-hander Yu Darvish on the hill. Well, the loft inside the Western Metal Building here, it is buzzing already on Tuesday evening. It is Manny Machado basketball jersey giveaway night. A very cool Manny Machado basketball jersey being given away. City Connect colors, so everybody here early to grab that for the first 40,000 fans in attendance here tonight, and everybody enjoying their beers and their mixed drinks and all the good stuff they have to enjoy here at the Western Metal Building and here at Petco Park as we get ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series. Well, we found out, we really got confirmed earlier today, and again, we'll hear from Jason Adam a little bit later. He did have an MRI today on his injury sustained last night. It was a ruptured quad. So that was the unfortunate news confirmed by the MRI today. Sounds like Jason Adam will have surgery tomorrow, and then it sounds like a rehab process that will take 6 to 9 months. Like I said earlier, the good news on the injury front today for the Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr. is back in the lineup today after being a late scratch yesterday. He was dealing with lower half tightness, and Jackson Merrill, who was activated yesterday but not in the lineup, did pinch run in that 9th inning. Jackson back in the lineup today and playing center field. And with all that in mind, let's hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
We spoke with Jason a little bit today, and from your perspective, it sounded like the MRI confirmed what you guys knew yesterday. What can you tell us about his situation?
Yeah, I mean, Jason spoke to everybody, and unfortunately, he got a tear in that. Exactly what we thought yesterday, and medical team and team doctors looked at, and the MRI looked like it confirmed. And it's clearly unfortunate he's handled like the pro he is, and disappointed, but going to be there for his teammates like Joe Musgrove.
Heard he's going to have surgery tomorrow, is what he told us. Is that your expectation? And then what's the timeline best you can tell for an injury like that?
Yeah, he's going to have surgery tomorrow morning, and they're saying it's a 6 to 9 month window that. Based on the healing process, most surgeons will know when they get in there tomorrow how it looks and determine what the recovery is. But you got to motivate a young, healthy athlete, so usually those go pretty well.
You want to lose a guy like Adam, but the bullpen is the strength, along with multiple pieces impacting the back part of the bullpen. Talk about just like absorbing the loss with the great arms that you still have available. Yeah,
I mean, listen, we do have a really strong bullpen. It's a huge, blow to it. We're going to miss Jason. He's been him and Suarez and, of course, Morejon and Estrada over the last year plus have been, great for us. And, but we do have other guys, and that have pitched really well. I mean, we've got, Miller obviously getting him as a huge help. And, of course, Suarez and Estrada have been great all year, one of the better guys in the league. And, of course, then you also have Morejon and Wandy had a good year. David Morgan stepped up, and, Yuki's done his part. So we got some really guys that we know are going to be able to contribute for us.
Fernando back in the lineup. Any clarity on what he was dealing with yesterday and how he's feeling today?
He's back in the lineup. Texted him after the game, and he's ready to go.
He didn't do any testing. Just it was like a 1 day, just a little bit soreness that he was dealing with.
I mean, not any testing. I mean, clearly we do, check his flexibility, all the different things that take place, and his strength and all that, and his hydration. And he was just sore yesterday, and it was really more of an abundance of caution than anything else with the, travel day and the fact how much he's played this year.
How big to get Jackson Merrill back in the lineup?
It's great. I'm really excited for Jackson to be back. He's clearly a big part of the club, and brings a lot of different things, and excited to have Jackson back in there. And to the expense of we got a lot of really talented left-handed hitters. So we now have makes the bench a little stronger, and we'll use the lineup and move guys around and get some guys off their feet.
This bullpen is uniquely equipped to deal with a loss like this. Obviously, it's not something you wanted, but given just how deep the high leverage options are, and then how deep the kind of next caliber of options are,
yeah, I think we're equipped to do it. I mean, it's a strength, right? But you don't want to deplete your strengths. But I think we can't absorb the blow. the one thing that's been, I don't know if a luxury is the right word, for a lack of a better word, a luxury to have, the 5 guys that have pitched, now 4, but, is the ability to, know where you can pick a lane and knowing you're going to have somebody for the next day. So when we get in these situations again, which will happen soon, where, you're winning multiple games in a row, it's relative to be how deep the starting pitching goes, but then having the availability that next day for that big inning and then keeping guys fresh, which was a real, like I said, a luxury we were able to do. But now in the silo, yes, everybody's fresh, ready to go, grow. Then the bullpen's still deep. Now it's just a matter of, other guys stepping up and taking some of those spots that, get created over a course of a 162-game schedule.
How did Michael King come out of his side session yesterday, and what's next for him?
Michael came out well. He felt good today, which was a big indicator. Yesterday was a good day for him. He was able to throw aside, take a break from his side, do some aerobic activity, and then finish with some pitches in the bullpen. He's going to get another side, and then there's a good chance, I won't put it in pen, but there's a good chance that he comes through that side that he'll have an opportunity to pitch for us.
Back here on the Padres Radio Network inside the Western Metal Building, that was Padres manager Mike Shildt before today's game. We'll hear more from Mike in our post-game coverage coming up a little bit later on this evening. You heard the latest there on Michael King, so we'll see what the update is on King in the days to come and when that return to the Padres does ultimately come, hopefully as soon as possible, because Michael King obviously very, very important to this Padres team and rotation. Let's quickly pause for station identification on the Padres Radio Network.
KWFN-FM and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
This is Yu Darvish from the San Diego Padres.
You're listening to Padres Baseball on the Padres Radio Network.
An Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. First pitch coming up at 6:40 here at Petco Park. Sam Levitt with you as we get ready for today's game. Yu Darvish on the mound today for the Padres. Tyler Wells on the mound for Baltimore. Let's take you around the horn, give you some of the latest headlines from around the majors.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Some quick updates from around the major leagues. The Diamondbacks placing left fielder Lourdes Gurriel Jr. on the IL earlier today. He tore his right ACL in yesterday's loss against the Texas Rangers, so not very good news for Gurriel and the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was carted off after yesterday's game, hurting his right knee, and it turns out today after imaging to be a torn right ACL, so his season is done. Washington Nationals agreeing to a one-year contract with former Padre Jorge Alfaro. Alfaro played in 82 games with the Brewers AAA team in Nashville this season. He batted .244 with 15 home runs, 49 RBIs. He became available when he opted out of his minor league contract yesterday. Finally, the first place Milwaukee Brewers had another major injury to their bullpen. Shelby Miller left because of an injury in the eighth inning of the Brewers' 10-8 loss to the Phillies yesterday. Brewers closer Trevor McGill went on the IL last week with a right flexor strain. Brewers still do have the best record in all of baseball, but they are dealing with some injuries right now, including, again, Shelby Miller leaving yesterday's game. And that's a quick look at some headlines from around the major leagues. When we return, we'll hear from Padres reliever Mason Miller. We'll also hear from Padres reliever Jason Adam, who is very unfortunately done for the season. We'll hear from Jason on what happened last night, his injury. We'll hear from Mason reacting to Jason's injury and looking ahead on what it means for the Padres bullpen. Our keys to the game, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and much, much more to come. First pitch at 6:40 right here on the Padres Radio Network.
Hello, my friends. It's Woodsy. Did you know
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch is coming up at 6:40 between the Padres and the Orioles, game 2 of this 3-game series. We'll hear from Jason Adam and Mason Miller in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. We'll also have our keys to the game, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and a much deeper dive into today's starting pitching matchup between Yu Darvish and Tyler Wells on the mound for the O's. First, let's give you the latest on the Padres' injuries and also an update on the Orioles.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Well, let's begin with who's in the lineup today for the Padres. There were 2 guys, significant guys, that were not in the lineup yesterday. Of course, that is Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jackson Merrill. Both were not in the lineup yesterday. Good news, both are in the lineup today. Fernando leading off, playing right field, and Jackson batting 6th and playing center field. So that is certainly very, very good news for the Padres. Obviously, we found out earlier today, Jason Adam confirmed via an MRI that he suffered a ruptured left quad in yesterday's game. That really bad injury for Jason Adam. He is done for the season. The corresponding move to putting Adam on the IL today was recalling right-hander Alec Jacob from AAA El Paso. So that was the Padres' move earlier in the day. As far as the Orioles, they reinstated Jorge Mateo onto their active roster. He had been dealing with a left hamstring strain, so Mateo is available off the bench today for the Orioles, not in the starting lineup. And also Tyler Wells officially reinstated from the IL as well. Again, he underwent right elbow UCL surgery, will make his return to the major leagues, first start of the year here today. We'll talk more about Wells coming up a little bit later. But again, Mateo available for the Orioles, and Merrill and Tatis are back in the lineup today for the Padres. And that's a look at our injury report on this Tuesday as we get ready for tonight's game. Well, Jason Adam spoke inside the clubhouse once again today. Here was Jason Adam talking about the aftermath of that left quad injury that happened last night.
Yeah. Dr. Leak touched it and he goes, "Yep, you ruptured your quad tendon." So you can just feel it's so soft. So I think that was it. Then he did an ultrasound on it, and that confirmed it. And then MRI today reconfirmed it.
What's the play from here? I heard you mentioning you might have something done.
I think I have to. I just got here, so I still have to talk to Rogues and then. But I think surgery tomorrow, and then start the recovery process.
What's the expected timeline for you?
I think typically it's 6 to 9 months. So should put me in a good spot for next year. Hopefully ready on time, but if not, it shouldn't be too late.
What is it like for you after having not just an all-star year, but part of a team that's really in the hunt to have something like this happen? I would imagine there's a lot of emotion tied to that.
Yeah, for sure. It's a bummer. I mean, it's the bright side is this team is plenty deep that they don't need me. Selfishly, it's a bummer because I want to be a part of the playoff run, but I'll do whatever I can to play a part here in the clubhouse and cheer those guys on. It's going to be a fun couple months to watch.
Your backstory with the 4 elbow surgeries, the ankle in Chicago, and you're like, really? You persevered through all this and now this happens? But it must give you some frame of reference and kind of how to handle the rigors of being an athlete with an injury.
Yeah, I mean, we all know it's part of it. It's there's no team goes a full year without anybody going on the IL. That playing a sport just results in injury sometimes. So no one's above that. I'm thankful that I'm on a good team, that I got to contribute for the length of season that I did. And I'm thankful that I have a good medical staff that'll help me bounce back quickly and be ready to contribute next year.
Yeah, saw some cute posts on your Instagram with the girls. What was that like when you got home and you saw the ladies?
Yeah, that was awesome. They were so happy. They made me sweet cards, had so many questions, wanted to know how I was going to go to the bathroom even. So yeah, they're just, they put everything in perspective. So it's, it was great to go home to them.
Jason, when it happened last night and in the immediate aftermath, what's going through your head? Because you came inside the clubhouse afterwards and you were the guy that you've been since you got here, upbeat and speaking so highly of your teammates. What was going through your head last night?
Yeah, there's definitely some heartache. It hurts, but also it's. I just want to do whatever I can to bring a positive presence to this clubhouse, and moping around is not going to help anybody. So I've got a bunch of teammates that'll help cheer me up and, help laugh. We'll laugh together and it'll be good.
You seem to have processed this extremely well, which seems extraordinary. Is this just how you're wired?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think, honestly, a lot of it does come to my faith that I think everything does work out together for good. And I've seen that to be true in my life. So I'm just excited to kind of watch that story unfold and do my part, work hard, work with this medical staff, and then kind of see what God does.
That was Padres reliever Jason Adam out for the season after rupturing his left quad during yesterday's game. Really a freak injury. I said it yesterday. It was referenced there during the availability with Jason today. And Jason is somebody who has been through a lot in his career injury-wise. In the early part of his career, arm injuries. He had a bad ankle injury back in 2021. Really took him a long time to get to this spot, and he turned himself into one of the best relievers in baseball. And you just feel for him to have to now go through this, to have to miss the rest of the season. And I want to give him credit as well. I mean, even if you watched him in the clubhouse yesterday and same thing today, I mean, just remarkably upbeat and positive, and the same guy that he's been since the moment he arrived in San Diego. Just remarkable how upbeat and positive and level-headed he was today when talking. I mean, that's a devastating injury to miss the rest of the year. So important to this team. I just was very, very impressed with how Jason Adam handled himself really throughout the last 24 hours. So best to Jason Adam. Hope it's a smooth recovery process. And hopefully see him on the mound next year as soon as possible into next season. But the Padres will, of course, be without Jason Adam for the remainder of 2025. But again, I just wanted to give him credit. I thought he handled himself just remarkably well last night and into today, speaking to the media and everything he said about his teammates. And just very impressive, so level-headed, positive, and upbeat. Let's give you our keys to today's game. First pitch coming up at 6:40.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by El Centro Motors Ford. Meet your new Ford General Manager, Greg Ryan, now at El Centro Motors Ford, your new Ford truck, Bronco, and SUV HQ. Call Greg directly at 619-944-0774.
By the way, I do just want to make one clarification before I get to keys to the game. I know I've said it a couple of times here. The technical term for what Jason Adams suffered is a ruptured quad tendon. So I don't think that's the quad itself, but a ruptured quad tendon. And I said that correctly last night. I think I said it a couple of times where I just said quad today. Let me be clear. Ruptured quad tendon. All right. On to our keys to today's game. Key number one, get into the Oriole pen. The Orioles bullpen ranks 25th in the major leagues among bullpen ERAs, but you wouldn't know it yesterday. The Padres scored just one unearned run in 5 innings pitched by that pen. The Orioles are starting a guy in Tyler Wells who is making his first start in well over a year after elbow surgery. So is Wells going to throw 100 pitches today? I'd imagine not, although he did throw a good number of pitches during his rehab outings. We'll talk more about that in a bit. But the bottom line is this. This is not a very good Oriole bullpen, and yesterday they were very good against the Padres. You're going to have a chance against this bullpen today, and the Padres offense has to be more productive against it. That's key number one. Key number two, a dealing Darvish. The Padres need more effectiveness and length from their starting pitching. Look, they're 2-6 in their last 8 games, and in that span, Padres starting pitching has a 5.63 ERA. Since the beginning of last week, the Padres' only starter to go 5 innings was Nick Pivetta on Saturday in Minnesota. That is putting way too many innings on this bullpen, and the Padres need effectiveness and length out of their starters. It has to begin tonight with Yu Darvish, who only went 4 innings in his last start. That's key number 2. And key number 3, slow down the Orioles rookies. The Padres got burned by a trio of Oriole rookies yesterday. Samuel Basallo had a 2-run double. Jeremiah Jackson hit a solo home run. Dylan Beavers drove in the go-ahead run in the 7th inning. Beavers is now hitting .333 in 15 career games. Jackson is hitting .340 with a .949 OPS and 11 RBIs in a 12-game hitting streak. So, hey, those rookies, they were great yesterday. Padres cannot allow those rookie hitters to do what they did last night and do it again here tonight. That's key number 3, and that's a look at our keys to today's game. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Well, let's start with the good news right now on the out-of-town scoreboard. Pirates are leading the Dodgers 8-6 in the 8th inning in Pittsburgh, so hopefully that score holds. Mets beating the Tigers 12-4 in the 9th inning in Detroit. Blue Jays ahead of the Reds 11-8 in Cincinnati in the 8th inning. Mariners and the Rays are tied at 3 in the 6th inning in Tampa. Angels beating the Royals 2-1 in Kansas City in the 7th inning. Cubs beating the Braves 4-3 in the 6th inning in Chicago right now. White Sox ahead of the Twins 5-3 in Minnesota in the 6th inning. Cardinals 2, A's 1 in St. Louis in the 7th. Yankees 2, Astros 0 in the 4th inning in Houston. Giants lead the Rockies 2-0 in Colorado in the 2nd. Rangers and the Diamondbacks coming up at 6:40. We do have 2 finals today. Red Sox beating the Guardians 11-7 at Fenway, and the Nationals beating the Marlins 5-2 in D.C. earlier today. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Tuesday evening. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres reliever Mason Miller. We tell you what to watch for in today's game, and we take a deeper dive into today's starting pitching matchup between Yu Darvish and Tyler Wells. First pitch coming up in just a little bit right here on the Padres Radio Network.
You're listening to
For EcoWater SoCal, Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series between the Padres and the Orioles. First pitch coming up at 6:40. Tyler Wells on the mound for Baltimore. Yu Darvish on the mound for San Diego. We'll talk much more about both those guys coming up in just a little bit, and we'll hear from Padres reliever Mason Miller in a moment as well. But first, let's tell you what to watch for in tonight's game.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For, presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in tonight's game. All right, bear with me here. I'm inviting a virtual Manny Machado up here to the loft at the Western Metal Building. Manny, sit right here next to me in the seat behind the table here. Manny, the Padres need you. Manny Machado, his last 29 games, he's batting only .214, a home run, 5 doubles, and 8 RBIs in that span. We know when Manny goes, the Padres tend to go. It has been a rough month plus now for Manny Machado. His OPS on the season since the start of August has gone from 871 down to just above 800 at 808 entering today. The Padres need Manny Machado. It's been a rough week or so. 2-6 in the last 8 games. Last 4 against losing teams. Not going well. Padres need Manny Machado to be the Manny that we all know he can so often be. So, what to watch for in today's game? Can Manny Machado get it going after an 0-for-4 day yesterday against starting pitcher in Tyler Wells that's making his season debut coming off injury? Manny Machado. Padres need him. Can Manny do something special here tonight as the Padres continue this 3-game series? Well, Mason Miller spoke inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Here was Mason on his perspective on last night's injury to Jason Adam and more.
You see him on the ground and you know something's really wrong, but you don't really understand how you got there. Just in that moment, just, at least for me, just saying a prayer for him that, regardless of the outcome, that, he'll be okay and, have a chance to get back on that mound again.
Have they talked to you guys, admittedly early now, but have they talked to you about how it may impact shuffling the deck out there at all?
No, not yet. I think all the guys here are self-aware enough to know that it does impact our roles, but, how that happens remains to be seen.
Have you gotten a chance to know him on a personal level at all, or what type of spirit and he has and kind of personality? Yeah. What does he bring to the pen?
Yeah, the pen and the team as a whole, he's just an extremely positive guy. Even after the injury yesterday, just obviously he's emotional about it and really disappointed that it happened, but just the way that he carries himself on a daily basis, injury, non-injury, success, failure, he's just a really special person. So he's going to continue to be that guy. Like I said yesterday, we all know that, and we're lucky to have him.
You guys are getting tested right now with the injuries, a lot of adversity with Bogarts being out for this month, and of course with Jason Adam. How much belief is there in this clubhouse right now with all the guys? Yeah,
there's still a ton of belief, and the expectations don't change. Bogey and Jason both would be the first to say that the expectations remain the same, and they're going to do everything they can from the position they're in to help us. But ultimately, this was never going to be one person that was going to carry us to where we wanted to be. So it's just about filling those shoes to the best that we can.
Very well said by Mason Miller. We'll see if Mason Miller plays a part in tonight's game as the Padres get ready for Game 2 of this 3-game set. Right-hander Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres today. 39 years old. He's 3-4 with a 5.66 ERA. 10 starts on the season. 47 2/3 innings. He struck out 42, walked 15. Last start in Seattle, 4 innings, 4 earned runs given up. He allowed 1 home run. Home runs have been a big issue lately for Darvish. He's allowed a home run in 5 consecutive games. He's not thrown more than 84 pitches in any of his 10 starts this season. Darvish has faced the Orioles just twice in his career, once in 2016 and once in 2023 as a Padre. 7 innings, 4 runs given up in 2023 against the O's. Right-hander Tyler Wells on the mound for the Orioles tonight. 31 years old. His first start in the major leagues since April 12th, 2024. Had elbow surgery. last season, then was on the IL, was rehabbing. He had a good year in 2023, a 3.64 ERA and 118 innings. Wells made 6 rehab starts in the minor leagues this season, and for whatever it's worth, he was good. A 2.49 ERA between AA and AAA. He threw 90 pitches in his last start at AAA, so it's not like he can't give the Orioles some amount of length today. We'll see how it goes for Tyler Wells, how deep he can go, and that's a look at our starting pitching matchup between Tyler Wells and Yu Darvish. As always, thank you for listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. When we come back, Jesse Agler, Bob Scanlon have the ball game for you. I'll talk to you later on the Padres Radio Network on this Tuesday night. Enjoy the game, everybody.